This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest here at the Beaver Creek Precious Metal Summit. I'm joined today by the Mercenary Geologist, Mr. Mickey Fulp, and President and CEO of Chakana Copper, Mr. David Kelley. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great.
Well, you can't beat this.
You can't beat this. It's absolutely gorgeous out here.
Yeah.
David, I have to imagine you're pretty happy. You had some pretty spectacular results today that I want Mickey to dig into a little bit.
Yeah.
Some high grade, I believe it's 32 or 33 meters of nearly 6% gold equivalent, or 6 grams per ton gold equivalent, and nearly 4% copper equivalent within a broader intercept of 144 meters. That was 0.88 grams per ton gold with obviously some copper and silver credits there. Impressive. Mickey and yourself were having a conversation off air, digging into the details of the release, and I found it fascinating and thought we'd have Mickey join us to kind of dig into it a bit. So first, could you provide an overview of the news today, and then Mickey, let's dig into it.
Yeah, so we've got this 20,000 meter drill program that's been ongoing since June, the end of June. And the goal of that drilling program is to do two things: infill drilling on known mineralized breccias, and also do a lot of target drilling on new targets that we've developed. The release that came out today is a new zone. It sits off the east of Breccia Pipe 5, so it's related. It's near a known Breccia Pipe, but it was a structural intersection, and it was a zone that we had great interest in from the model that we've developed. And we put 2 holes down there and hit a very large intercept, much larger than the original intercepts on the Breccia Pipe, with higher grade profile. We don't know yet if it's a new Breccia Pipe that's intersected the other one, or if it's the downward zonation of the same Breccia Pipe, but it's a really exciting result to get high grade to go with the favorable results we already had at Breccia 5.
Now, when you say east of Breccia Pipe 5, how far east?
It's just within 100 meters. It's in the immediate proximity, which, if you recall, we've talked about Breccia 1. We discovered a blind Breccia Pipe on the edge of Breccia Pipe 1. So we know that whenever you're around one of these mineralized Breccia Pipes, exploring in and amongst the edges of that breccia is a really important strategy.
Now, Mickey, you're a geologist. David, of course, is a geologist. I'm not. So I can read a news release and get the surface stuff, and I can ask about true widths and the geometry of the ore body and how far the step out was and what was around it and where the mineralization started. But dig a little deeper for me. What are the things that you look for as a geologist when you get a news release that says, 144 meters of nearly a gram per ton gold, and within that, some very high grade gold and copper?
Well, number one, the first thing you want to look at is the individual metals content. So 0.88% copper, 0.88 grams per ton gold. So that gives you a good mix right there. So I found it interesting the way you convert those to copper equivalents and gold equivalents, and this goes back to the entire thing, which is your immediate premise, I think, or what you drilled before, is 60% of the value of all this stuff is in gold versus copper.
Yeah.
And that relates to the fact you said 6 grams per ton gold equivalent, 4% copper equivalent. So, and the other thing I asked David immediately was, okay, let's look at this thing in plan and see how thick it is actually. So what was it, 144 meters?
Yeah.
But you're drilling pretty steep holes, and the pipes are basically vertical structures. Now they have a plunge to that, a trend of that, not exactly vertical, but they'll have a plunge to that mineralization. So you told me 70 meters, true thickness more or less.
Yeah, approximately.
That's thick.
Yeah.
That's certainly a mineable zone.
With those types of grades.
Right. The other thing that I would want to know is how much of that is the ring zone, the annular zone, because that's where you're real high grade, and maybe you could elucidate a little bit on that.
Yeah, we just have 3 holes in the zone, but what we're seeing in this new zone is we're seeing the high grade margin zones, which we've seen before at Breccia 1. And that adds considerable value because the margin zones can be, in the 3 to 5 copper equivalent or 4 to 6 gram gold equivalent kind of grade range, and within a much larger, broader, good grade zone. So it's good that we're actually seeing this high grade.
And so there's a geological reason for that, and that is the porosity permeability of those ring annular zones. The rock's more broken up, therefore the fluids have more ingress into the rocks, so you get more fluid flow around the rings of these things, so you essentially end up with a high-grade annular zone, a ring zone around what is turning out to be really thick mineralization all the way through the center of the pipe too.
Let's take the bird's eye view of the forest instead of the tree, and let's talk about the concept behind exploration at the Soledad project, because we have, frankly, over 20 breccia pipes.
Yeah.
Right, and so I noticed in this release you had results from some infill drilling, which were successful.
Yeah.
You had some exploration drilling, which frankly didn't hit.
Yeah.
And then you had the spectacular intercept that obviously you're going to follow up on.
Yeah.
How do you discard targets that you don't get results from quickly and efficiently to protect shareholder money, right?
Yeah, I mean the best drilling obviously is the best way to see what's at depth. We've drilled 6 pipes out of 23 confirmed pipes so far. 4 of those pipes are strongly mineralized and 2 aren't. Now we're still trying to understand why the 2 are not mineralized. It's beautiful breccia. It has quartz, tourmaline, and pyrite. And one of the pipes has pyrite crystals the size of your fist, but it's not carrying the gold and the copper and the silver. Why, we don't know. We're going to find that out. If our hit rate continues the way we are going, 4 out of 6 is not bad. If we can continue doing that, then the project's going to develop in the way that we want it to, which is to have multiple mineralized breccia pipes with vertical extensive mineralization in there, close proximity to each other, and an integrated mining infrastructure that serves multiple pipes to be mined at the same time.
And I want to comment about that. The geography is ideal for that.
That was my question. You've been to the site.
Yeah, so I've been there and I've looked at it, and that's really the key. And I knew this from looking at your kind of 3D aerial view of the thing to begin with. Very steep country, not radically steep, fairly high altitude, but the beauty of it is these are vertical pipes that can be accessed by tunnels periodically all the way down to the bottom of the valley. So essentially what you would do in a mining scenario, you have a big couple of haulage adits and you mine up and drop the stuff down, so you've got gravity working for you the entire time, and that's pretty special. So the geography of this project in Peru is ideal, and the other thing that's ideal, and I'm a shareholder so I'm biased, is every good geologist knows that grade is king, and this project has grade.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you need to look at.
And good grade, of course, leads to good margins typically if you
Well,
do it the
that's
right way.
it.
That's
yeah,
right?
exactly.
The 1 and 1 equals 2, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Community relations, how are those?
Community relations are really good. You know, we're in an established mining district. There's an active mine immediately to the east, and the people that work in that mine live in the community on the west, Aiha, or else in Requai, which is a community on the other side, on the east side. We've got a very active community relations program with the 3 immediate communities in terms of social benefits and enhancements that we make to the communities. We're putting a roof on a church right now. We've helped with their agricultural water supplies and that type of thing. So the community, it's a really good place in Peru in particular to be, because mining has really been a fabric of that region for a long, long time.
Mickey, what would you say to speculators that discard an entire country because of maybe a couple of negative news articles without exception, right? And so I get a lot of commentary, frankly,
about
from people
Peru?
in the business that just say, stay away from Peru. And I try to tell people, mining is a very localized, kind of like real estate, right? It's very local.
It was within the social fabric of Peru and has been since the Incas or before.
Absolutely.
So some of these discoveries have been made over the last 20 to 30 years, or 20 years for certain, are by following old Inca roads. Where were the Incas going for their gold? So the ideal thing about Peru, I mean, well, let's go back and say there are certain parts of Peru that are not mining friendly, but it's like any country.
Like Mexico, like the U.S., like anywhere in the world, right?
Exactly. Same thing in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Are you going to go to California to mine when you can go next door and you're welcome?
Right.
Probably not. But so I feel very comfortable in Peru. Now, I realize that I lived in Peru for a period of time, so I know the culture. I speak some Spanish, so I can get around very well. But this area in particular, Huaraz area, is it's been a mining community now for 20 years. And so there is a contingent of people that are miners and
Understand mining culture.
understand mining culture. So,
Excellent.
or longer than 20 years, but that's 20 years ago.
Locally.
Basically was when Barrett came in at Beaver in a big way. So.
Chakana Copper, David, has a market cap today, I think, of sub $20 million Canadian.
Yeah.
You're in the process of a 20,000 meter drill program. I believe you've completed just
Yeah.
over 4,000 meters.
Yep.
How much cash is in the treasury?
We have 10.1 million as of today.
So over half of your market cap is backed by cash right now.
Exactly. So we're fully funded for this 20,000 meter program, which will take us through the first resource estimate. We're starting up metallurgical programs with Goldfields input, obviously our strategic investor that came in May of this year, and they're really happy with the project in terms of the progress we've made and the results that we're producing. So we're really excited about what's happening with Chakana Copper and the Soledad project.
Mickey, you're a shareholder.
Well, I have some stink bids in right now.
Okay.
Because
All right. So
what
tell me
was
what you
it about a month ago or 6 weeks ago maybe? The stock hits all-time low, I think, 19.5 cents.
had a large seller hitting the market.
Yeah,
tell me what you like about the project, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me what the company needs to prove to you to keep you as a shareholder. Start with the first question. What do you like about it?
Well, it's got a new discovery with a previously unexplored target for this kind of deposit, breccia pipes. Targets before were always porphyry, copper's deeper. It's got grade. It's in a mining community, in a mining-friendly state, in a mining-friendly country, and it's got grade. You know, the grade is tremendous here, and so that's probably what first attracted me to the project. I'm a shareholder. I'm trying to buy more. Maybe the stock went up today. Maybe my stink bids didn't get filled, but it's a stock that I want to own more of, especially at these prices right now.
Tell me what David and Chakana is going to have to do to keep you as a shareholder and to keep you patient and watching as exploration continues to develop.
I have a trading methodology. When stocks double, when my cost base is double, I sell half and take all my money off the table. And I would intend to do that at Chakana. I'm averaging down right now with trying to buy at this price, but eventually I would expect Chakana Copper, if they are successful, get taken out by a bigger mining company, and so that's what I'm looking for. Number one, I want to sell half, take all my money off the table. As the stock continues to appreciate, I'll sell into that market, but I want to make sure that I've got some stock at the end when they get taken out by the major, and that assumes they have continued success. They're a ways from that, probably quite a ways from that right now, and you probably want to be quite a ways from that because you still got a deposit to prove up.
Yeah.
Excellent. Mickey, if people want to follow your work, where can they find you?
MercenaryGeologist.com. Join almost 7,000 subscribers. It's free, so the price is right. Can't go wrong there. And at Mercenary Geo, we've got 52,000 Twitter followers.
Fantastic. David, ChakanaCopper.com?
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank
Mickey,
you, Gerardo.
pleasure as always.